Good evening. Welcome to the third episode of our month-long e-conclave on breast cancer, brought to you by IHW Council and Novartis India. One self-check a month and timely action can help a woman spot the early signs of breast cancer, which will not only phenomenally increase her chances of beating the disease, but also help the nation reduce the high mortality associated with breast cancer, which is very treatable if detected early. Today, we have India's foremost cancer experts, social influencers, patient support leaders, and policymakers joining us to raise awareness on the early symptoms and indications of breast cancer. But before we begin the conversation, here's a quick recap of the last session of the Breast Cancer Action Month addressing India's breast cancer epidemic, moving from awareness to action. We kick-started a month-long campaign on the 1st of October. The excerpt of the last show we had. Breast cancer is the biggest cancer killer among women in India when it comes to cancer cases. Breast cancer accounts for 1/4 of all cancers in Indian women, but half of all cancer-related deaths.
It's an opportunity and it's a challenge. The opportunity is to keep the rural and the smaller towns intact and do not bear the onslaught of breast cancer. Whereas those who are suffering from breast cancer in big metros, they should be treated adequately.
Every opportunity of health checkup in the aware people who want to take care of themselves should be given the opportunity of doing a mammography, and that will pick up the breast cancer before it manifests, and that's almost a guarantee of curing that patient with minimal intervention. So that should be encouraged more and more.
So whatever awareness sessions we take, whatever campaigns we do, whatever we are doing in this regard has to be around positivity and the good parts of being diagnosed early.
We don't really need artificial intelligence and those kind of things. In a country like ours, it's very, very simple tools that we just need to teach, whether through the ASHA workers, whether we can target the schools, the colleges. We can teach all the children, educate them, tell them that these are the things that you need to convey. You teach a child, you're teaching the whole family. So we have to look at these kind of gaps which need to be bridged.
And just talking is not important. Important is to create that infrastructure that it is at their convenience that their checkup can be done. But if we can assure them that your complete treatment will be taken care of, the numbers will increase. The number of people coming will increase.
Cancer with cure, you can see all around yourself. So they will going to be thoughts bearer that cancer is curable if you can get it treated properly and get it diagnosed. So fear of cancer will gradually go away as the facility become available and as we increase the early cancer detection.
So the better we are able to improve the health systems in rural areas and bring care to patients in tier 2 and rural areas, will be better for the general population and better for outcomes for breast cancer that we have in the country.
Thank you everybody for joining us today and sharing with us your thoughts on breast cancer, on the differences that you see in your daily life in between the different settings in rural and urban areas, and all your ideas on how we can increase awareness to see and ensure that there is early detection and hence early treatment that will help stamp out breast cancer or at least increase the survival rate of breast cancer in our country. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, it may sound repetitive, but I'm going to say it again. Breast cancer is the biggest cancer killer among women in our country. Now, breast cancer accounts for 1/4 of the cases, but when it comes to death, it's half of all cases in Indian women. So why is the mortality rate of breast cancer so high in our country? Can this be explained because of the large percentages of cases which are detected at a late stage in India? How can we detect breast cancer early on? Can we do it at home? Do women need a regular mammography after menopause to detect breast cancer early? These are some of the questions that we are going to be taking up today. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed panelists on the show. Please welcome Dr. Shalini Singh, Director ICMR, National Institute of Cancer Prevention and Research. We have with us Padma Bhushan Dr. S.H. Advani, Director, Department of Medical Oncology, Jaslok Hospital and Research Center. We have Dr. Meenu Walia, Director of Medical Oncology, the Medical and Oncology Department at Max Hospital, Delhi, NCR. We have Sonalini Matthew, Senior Deputy Editor at The Hindu. We have Christina Wadhwani, Director, Healthcare Systems, Asia Pacific, Middle East Countries, Oncology, Novartis Oncology. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us for this very important session on increasing awareness about breast cancer and how we can detect it early. I'd like to start by taking opening comments from all our panelists today. I'll start with you, Dr. Shalini Singh. In your mind, what is the best way forward to ensure that there is early detection of breast cancer? Does it mean regular visits to your doctors? Can you do it yourself? To your mind, which is the best way to detect breast cancer early?
So thank you for inviting me to this panel discussion. Breast cancer, as you know, is the largest killer amongst cancers for women in India and also globally. And I think the most important thing is to be aware of the risk of, that you're a female, you can get breast cancer. But even males should also be, aware that, they have women at home and they should also be responsible. Even males get breast cancer, but here today we're talking about mostly women because this plagues women more often. So first thing is to be aware that such a thing can happen. The next thing is to be aware of the risk factors because of which it can happen and then take some action on those risk factors. So as we go along, I think we'll be discussing the risk factors as well. Is that right?
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Singh, for giving us your opening comments. Dr. Advani, what would you like to say in your opening comments? What explains the reason why we have such late stage detections of breast cancer in our country, which leads to high mortality rates?
I think, as mentioned by everyone all over the world, the only way to get the disease early is by awareness. There's nothing like awareness. Why do you think that the people in US, they are diagnosed stage 0? 80% of the ladies, the disease is diagnosed in stage 0, 1 and 2. While in India, it is 80% stage 3 and 4. Why? Only one reason, the awareness. There, everybody knows about the breast cancer. There's no lady in US who does not know about the breast cancer. How do they know? The whole media. You pick up any print media, you pick up TV, everywhere, every day, you'll find show. Not for 1 month. You are organizing it for 1 month. That's not enough. You have to organize every day, make the people aware about it. The print media also should publish every day something about the breast cancer. How the people who are cured of the breast cancer, they should come on the forefront. So that is how you can bring it out, by creating the awareness in the sense of exposure. It should be the explosion of the knowledge about the breast cancer. How so many people are cured. You can be also cured if you diagnose early. That is how the fear will go out. It's awareness that the lump in the breast can be breast cancer. That's a one-line awareness. And with that, you can diagnose the disease early. And the same is true, of course, the other methods we'll discuss in detail about how the self-breast examination, physical examination by the physician, and of course, the regular screening mammography can help to diagnose the disease early.
Right. Dr. Walia, let me come to you. Dr. Advani is saying there's a lot of awareness about breast cancer in Western countries. But then in India, we are seeing cases being detected as early as late 30s and early 40s. So, nobody thinks that I should do an exam now. Nobody thinks that they could be vulnerable. So, is that another reason why it is being detected late? Because nobody expects to get it on so early.
So the most important reason why people are not aware and why it is being detected late is lack of awareness, lack of education, and in our society, still there is a lot of stigma attached to the word, not only cancer, to breast cancer also. I mean, you see so many women who will be reluctant to talk about to and even to another woman about it, to be reluctant to talk about the disease in public. So these are the major factors. That is why I feel that most of the people, they do not come forward. Being aware, as Dr. Advani very rightly pointed out, it all begins with being aware and being aware of the fact that any lump in the breast can actually be a breast cancer. We have had a very recent incident from my OPD. I found a lady who presented with a huge lump in the breast, and when I asked her the question why she had not since how long the lump was, and the answer was 8 to 9 months, and why she had not come earlier. And this is an educated lady from Delhi, from a metro, and she says because it never pained, it was not causing me any problem. It was a painless lump. So this is what I feel is what is lacking in our country, is which is lacking with most of our public, is they feel that they will only go to a doctor or they will only go to a healthcare provider when there is a problem. So even if a lump is lying there and lump is lying there for months altogether, nobody goes out. And what to talk about the basic things like breast self examination needs to be done. You need to be aware of your own body. That is the only way you will catch up if there are any changes in your breast. What to talk about that even when you are absolutely fine, you need to go and get a clinical breast examination done after the age of 29. And it becomes very difficult to educate them that symptoms or no symptoms, screening mammography has to be done above the age of 40. Even if you don't have any lump, you don't feel any lump, you should get a screening mammography done, because that is the only way you'll probably catch up the lump in a very early stage, when it even before it becomes palpable.
Right. So, Dr. Walia spoke about the stigma attached to breast cancer. Dr. Advani spoke about the lack of awareness. Now, this is our attempt to increase awareness and to break the stigma attached to this disease, because this is just a disease and it's a killer. And we want to ensure that people talk about it without associating a stigma in this. And today we also have with us Ms. Rima Khurana. She's a breast cancer survivor. She's going to recount to us her experience as well. But before that, I want to come to Ms. Gulabani. Now, she is working in a cancer society. She's working in creating awareness. She's a survivor herself. Ma'am, you've done so much work. Please tell us why you feel that, the awareness is less, and, what leads to late detection? How can breast cancer be detected early?
Yeah, actually, I am a breast cancer survivor. Now it is more than 22 years. So when I had my breast cancer, I was always of the view that after cancer, nobody survives. So I kept it to myself and never disclosed it for 3 years. And after 3 years, when my condition became very bad, I had to go to the doctor. And the doctor was apprehensive that I was at a very late stage. But by grace of God, it was not so late. I survived. But at that point of time, I saw many women who had suffered in many ways, financially, emotionally, socially, economically. So my husband used to help them also in financially when he saw others suffering. At that point of the time, I promised to myself, if I survive, I would try to do something for these people. So in 2003, I joined Indian Cancer Society. So before I proceed, I would like to greet Dr. Advani on behalf of all the members of Indian Cancer Society who are so excited to see him over there. We are very fond of him, and I am a big fan of Dr. Minu Walia also. So I feel the greatest need of the hour is creating awareness among the people. We have adopted Mathura and Vrindavan as our pilot project, and there are more than 36 villages, and our effort is to reach each and every village and meet each and every woman of the village. And we take the help of GRC, ASHA worker, and the local hospital also, and the health provider of the village. So that when we go over there, tell them about the symptoms, create the awareness. These people continue our work in our absence. The job of ASHA worker and GRC and the social worker of hospital is to take care that each and every member, woman of the society does breast self-examination. We teach it to them. And if some symptom is found, ASHA worker makes it sure that she is taken to the hospital. If we become successful, hopefully we will definitely go to other areas, because now online job has neglected these people who are economically weak, who don't have computer, who are not techno savvy. We are talking amongst the people who are techno savvy. So how to reach these people? This is the question. Hope we will find the answer to this. So we used to go to these people to make each and every woman aware of breast cancer symptoms and the risk factors also. So I hope your program is going far and wide, and many people will learn that they should go for screening very regularly. So awareness, screening, and be away from the taboos. You know, the taboos are many. Women feel shy to talk about their breast or cervix, and they also don't want to trouble their family with extra financial burden. Also, they have so many responsibilities. They think of their husband and children and family first. They don't think about themselves. The self comes the last. And all these things combined together result into metastatic breast cancer, advanced breast cancer. We have to tell the women that if they are healthy, only then they will be able to look after the family. So please don't neglect yourself. That should be our message to all the
women should put their health first, because without a healthy woman, we're not going to have a happy family.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to come to you, Christina. Dr. Advani said that the amount of awareness about breast cancer in the West is far more than what it is in India.
Pardon? How about the?
Ma'am, I'm asking the question to Christina now.
Okay, sorry.
And the question is about the level of awareness in our country compared to Western India. Why this disparity?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Anisha. And thank you to all the esteemed panelists. It's really an honor to be able to share this session with you. I think, you know, exactly what Dr. Advani was saying is growing up, when I grew up in the US, but my family, my mother's side's from Vietnam, my father's side from India, but I was mostly born and raised in the States. From a very young age, you do see ads about breast cancer on TV everywhere. There's so many charities like the Pink Ribbon Run, where every year there's multiple races to raise money for breast cancer research. I think in the family, it's also quite talked about. My paternal grandmother, she was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 75. And so it was always talked about, both in the family and then maybe not so much out in public, but you see ads, you see posters. In school, we also were, you know, growing up when I was in primary school and high school, you learned about different health risks from men and women. I learned very young, as a woman, you have risks in cervical and breast cancer. For boys or men, prostate. And so I think there is a bit more of a culture to talk about the diseases. However, there is still a bit of taboo. I would agree with the other panelists, and I think the running theme that we're seeing it. A lot of women who then become diagnosed, I do notice they don't share it till they've passed, you know, the rates and all of the emergency stops. And then they share, you know, last year I was diagnosed XYZ. There's work to be done. I am grateful that I was born and raised. I found my cancer last year by self-screening, because I was aware that, once you feel a bump, if it's strange, trust your gut, don't ignore it. And I found a bump myself in the shower, and I made the call. And deep down, I was very nervous, but my brain was saying it's probably nothing. But I work in public health. Breast cancer runs in my family. Let's get a biopsy. And my oncologist and my gynecologist both said early screening and self-screening saved your life. If you had waited, it would have metastasized and spread. So I'm a huge proponent of early detection and self-screening. So I'm very excited to speak with the experts. How do we get more women to screen themselves, to do self-screening even in their 20s? Because we're seeing women are getting diagnosed younger and younger.
Thanks for recounting your experience, Christina. We had Gulmani ma'am, who has, beat cancer 22 years ago, diagnosed 22 years ago, and you, having, self-detected your cancer is really one thing that everybody gets inspired from. So, Nalini, I want to come to you. Christina said it's very normal to discuss this within families growing up in the United States. Why is it not normal here? And does the media talk less about this? Is it because there are so many other diseases? The sanitation is a problem, and we have so many other diseases that somewhere awareness about breast cancer is getting lost. And why can't we muster up the courage to talk about this within our family?
So I think two reasons. One is the larger, the whole marketing calendar, as I'd like to call it, because, now you have, January is this month, February is this month, March is this month, which means what happens is that the media all conglomerates around what is happening in that particular month. So that is one reason. Whereas actually we should be talking about all of these diseases all through the year. That is one. The second is that in India, breast is a bad word almost, right? Somebody was telling me the other day how, if you look at a line, a clothes line, you'll often see the men's underwear hanging in front, but the bra is all hanging behind various levels of clothes. So these are all, anything intimate, remotely intimate with a woman is to be hidden away. And the moment you hide something away, then you don't want to talk about it, obviously. So there are the problem is really at two levels. One is, like I said, with the media centering a lot of communication around what is significant in that month. And the second is, as a society itself, we just don't want to mention the word breast.
So, along with awareness about breast cancer, perhaps we should also be more comfortable with our sexuality and talk about that as well. Now, I'm going to take everybody's opinion on how one can detect the disease early. But before that, I want to come to a special guest who's joining us, Ms. Reema Khurana. She's a breast cancer survivor. और मैम आज हमें बताएंगी कि उनकी ये जर्नी कैसी रही, उन्होंने क्या किया, कब किया. रीमा मैम, आपसे जानना चाहते हैं कि आपको कैसे पता लगा कि आपको ब्रेस्ट कैंसर है.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मुझे पहले लेफ्ट हैंड में पेन हो रहा था.
हैंड में आपके आर्म में दर्द हो रहा था?
हाथ में दर्द हो रहा था, हेडेक हो. I can't bear the pain in headache. Then here fever has come. बाद में फिर मैं इनके पास गई, डॉक्टर प्रफुल्ल देसाई ऑंको सर्जन. तो उन्होंने कहा कि मेमोग्राफी वगैरह करवाना पड़ेगा. मैंने मेमोग्राफी वगैरह करवाया और सोनोग्राफी करवाया, चेस्ट एक्सरे करवाया. तो उन्होंने कहा कि आपको ट्यूमर है सबसे. बाद में उन्होंने मुझे 13 मई को उन्होंने ऑपरेशन किया मेरा ब्रेस्ट कैंसर का. ब्रेस्ट कैंसर होने के बाद में बायोप्सी करवाया, तो उसमें रिपोर्ट आया मैलेग्नांट ब्रेस्ट कैंसर. तो बाद में फिर मुझे कैमरा वगैरह सजेस्ट किया. तो उन्होंने कहा आपको केमो लेना पड़ेगा, रेडिएशन लेना पड़ेगा, डॉक्टर प्रफुल्ल देसाई ने. तो मैं आई अप्रोच टू डॉक्टर अडवाणी. देन अडवाणी टोल्ड मी you to start this chemotherapy from 6 cycles every 21 days. मैंने जून में केमोथेरेपी स्टार्ट किया, सितंबर में कंप्लीट हुआ. उसके बाद अक्टूबर में रेडिएशन शुरू हुआ, नवंबर में कंप्लीट हुआ बाय डॉक्टर अडवाणी, हीरानंदानी हॉस्पिटल। उसके बाद सब ठीक रहा। बाद में मैं एवरी 2-3 मंथ में अडवाणी के पास चेकअप के लिए जाती थी। तो उन्होंने मेरा चेकअप किया तो उनको यहाँ डाउट गया नेक में ट्यूमर का, तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये करवा लीजिए पैट स्कैन वगैरह। तो पैट स्कैन करवाया मैंने दिसंबर 2016 में करवाया। तो नेक में यहाँ पे मिला नेक में नोज, तो फिर से इसका सर्जरी हुआ। सर्जरी होने के बाद में मैं ठीक हुई अच्छी तरह, टैबलेट चालू एल्बेस वगैरह एक्सेट्रा। फिर नवंबर में डॉक्टर के पास गई तो उन्होंने कहा एवरी ईयर आप पैट स्कैन करवा लीजिए
फॉलो अप
तो बाद में उसमें भी पैट स्कैन करवाया तो उनको कुछ डाउट गया यहाँ पे नेक के पास थोड़ा स्वेलिंग का ऐसे कुछ सुप्रा बर्ड है उसमें फाइल में, तो बोले कि लंग्स में भी थोड़ा ट्यूमर है, स्मॉल स्पॉट है। बाद में उन्होंने मैं फिर फाउंडेशन टेस्ट 1 करवाया, उसकी रिपोर्ट आई अमेरिका से। तो रिपोर्ट आने के बाद में उसमें ये टैबलेट लिखा हुआ एल्टालिस्टिक। तो अडवाणी सर के पास गई तो अडवाणी सर ने रिपोर्ट वगैरह देखा तो ये नोवार्टिस के डॉक्टर थे, पाटोले ऐसे कुछ याद नहीं आ रहा मुझे पतले। फिर उन्हें सब डॉक्यूमेंट्स वगैरह सब किया, फिर अमेरिका भेजा, फिर वहां से नोवार्टिस के थ्रू ये टैबलेट आई एल्टालिस्टिक, तो वो मैं ले रही हूँ अभी। तो मुझे अच्छा महसूस होता है। वो 1 साल उन्होंने फ्री दिया नोवार्टिस में ये टैबलेट विदाउट कॉस्ट।
राइट।
मैं उनकी अडवाणी डॉक्टर साहब की, नोवार्टिस के पाटोले साहब की, उनका बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ। अभी मुझे भूख भी अच्छी लग रही है, मैं खाना अच्छे तरह भूख लगती है, काम भी कर लेती हूँ सब ऐसे।
रीमा जी हमारे साथ रेखा मैम है, 22 साल पहले उनको कैंसर हुआ, वो आज भी हमारे साथ हैं, खुश हैं, हेल्दी हैं, स्माइल कर रही हैं। अब बहुत सारे लोग आपको भी सुन रहे हैं, आप उनको क्या कहना चाहती?
मैंने कहा उनको कहना चाहती हूँ मेरे में विल पावर है, विल पावर की वजह से मैं सब कुछ कर लेती हूँ। बस मैं यही बताना चाहती हूँ कि कैंसर पेशेंट के लिए फाइट करना चाहिए अगेंस्ट कैंसर।
बिल्कुल। रीमा मैम आपने हमें अपनी जर्नी बताई, इसको सुन के हम सब बहुत इंस्पायर्ड हैं। और सच्चाई तो ये है कि रेखा मैम 22 साल पहले उनको जो दवाइयाँ मिलती थी, जो ट्रीटमेंट थी, और अब में बहुत फर्क आ गया है। ट्रीटमेंट बहुत इम्प्रूव हो गई हैं और चांसेस जो भी कैंसर पेशेंट्स हैं उनके इम्प्रूव हो गए हैं, क्योंकि अगर जल्दी उनको पता लग जाए तो ट्रीटमेंट बेमिसाल है और उनका ट्रीटमेंट और सर्वाइवल रेट भी बहुत अच्छा है। अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बात करके हमें बताने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। Now, Dr. Singh, I want to, Rekha ma'am, I'll come to you, but I just want a word from Dr. Singh first. Now, Dr. Singh, Christina said she discovered a lump in her breast in her shower because she knew that, a self-exam is a good idea. But we have just heard Reema ma'am say that she had a pain in her arm and a fever and a splitting headache. Now, you don't associate these with breast cancer symptoms. So what really are the symptoms? When should your alarm bell start ringing off?
Yeah, so I think that was the point when she went to the doctor.
Yes.
But normally the symptoms of breast cancer start with the local site itself. And it could be a breast lump or the thickening of skin, maybe the change in size or shape or the appearance. So one has to be familiar with the own breasts to be able to notice these differences. The skin over the breast may also feel a little different. They may be dimpling, or the nipple may be inverted. or there could be some crusting or flaking or some peeling of skin around, especially around the areola or the breast. There could be some redness in some puckering. So it sometimes feels like the skin, like the orange skin. It's called pude orange. So generally, these are the symptoms. Of, sometimes somebody can have pain also. Many times it's painless as well. So there could be nipple discharge, which was never there earlier. So such kind of symptoms are point towards something abnormal in the breast, and then when one goes in for a checkup, they will find that if it is benign or malignant.
Right. Dr. Walia, now Dr. Singh has told us, what are the typical symptoms that women should keep a watch out for? And, we have Christina's example. She was so self-aware that she managed to, she detected something amiss during a shower. But you yourself have recounted the experience of a patient who is from Delhi and has waited 8 months with a lump in her breast, thinking it didn't hurt, it didn't matter. So, why, on one side, Dr. Singh is saying 1, 2, 3. These are things you should keep your eyes open to. On one side of the spectrum, we have people like Christina who are very proactive and they can tell the moment they feel a change in the body. On the other side, people are just sitting pretty that, no, this is nothing, it's not hurting, it's not paining. Let's just ignore it. Even if you know, why aren't you doing anything?
So that is exactly the point which I wanted to convey. There is basically lack of awareness. So most women probably do not even know that what are the signs and symptoms they are supposed to look out for. Why we keep on advocating breast self-examination. As somebody among the panelists already pointed out, there is a lot of stigma. There's a lot of shyness among the women. They do not want to talk about their private parts. They do not want to talk about their breast, and they do not want to even be more self-aware about their own body. So I will not be surprised. There will be many women who have probably not even touched or examined their own breasts just because of the stigma attached to it. And to tell them that why we want them to touch it, to examine it, because if there is a development of a lump, they will be the first one to catch it. They will be the first one who will the lump will come to attention, and they will finally land up with a doctor. So that is what is lacking in our country. To tell all these women out there that a breast cancer, majority of the cases, it will present with a lump. So watch out for that lump. And that lump may not always be in the breast, or sometimes there may be an occult primary in the breast or a lump in the axilla. So look out for that lump or any changes in the breast. If there is a change in the skin of the breast, as already pointed out, dimpling, changes in the nipple, inversion of the nipple, retraction of the nipple, or there is a change of the color of the skin of the breast, some redness, something which is occurring, or a discharge from the nipple. So all these are the changes which might indicate that it is a sign of breast cancer. Apart from that, what is important to note that most of these lumps, people have to understand, most of these lumps are painless to begin with. So if it is painless, it does not mean that it is harmless. So any lump out anywhere in the body, especially if it is of recent occurrence, if it has been recently been noticed by you and it is increasing in size, for each and every lady, they need to go to a doctor. They should consult their local physician, their gynecologist, and bring to their attention and get themselves checked for this lump.
Right. Dr. Advani, I want to come to you since you see so many patients. When patients present themselves at a later stage, have you inquired from them, why did it take so long? What are their reasons?
Yeah, I think as many of panelists have discussed this, that why they come late. One of many reasons. I mean, one of the reasons is awareness. They don't know what is cancer. Some people feel that if it is pain, there's a pain, there's no cancer. Painless, that there's a cancer. That's also the things go on. So what is important to remember is that if you have abnormality in the breast, whether the lump is there or not, if you are feeling something in the breast, you must go to the doctor. That's the most important thing, because ultimately The breast cancer can be there even without the lump. That's a very, so after the age of 40, they should go for the screening mammography. But otherwise, I think it's a lack of awareness. Second thing which I think is important, that everybody feels, all ladies feel that it cannot occur to them. That's a problem, a major, that they are special and therefore it cannot occur to them. So that's also that to realize that everybody should know it can occur to anybody. And I think unless these are the things which are accepted, but I think as many other panelists have mentioned, the most important thing is that ladies, I mean, ultimately, all of us know that the captain of the home, who is the captain who controls the home, is a lady. And believe me or not, the ladies are not there. They are not normal. The home cannot run. So therefore, they have to look after their health. The problem is that all the ladies, they look after all the home, but they don't look after themselves. They
Right.
sacrifice. So many of our patients, they come that after 6 months, why do you come after 6 months? Simple reason. Oh, my daughter was going to get married and I don't want to disturb that. So now the marriage is over, I have come. Or my son was in the 12th standard, very crucial year. If I say that, his studies will go, his whole life will go. So see how they sacrifice themselves by just thinking about everybody else around them. So I think these are very common things. Mind you, I mean, all these small things that why you did not come. They knew that it's a cancer, but they don't come because they feel that other family members will be affected because of that. Their education will be affected. Their earning may be affected. And one of my patients, she came and told me that my husband got a promotion and he had to go to some Middle East place. And he's going to earn a lot over there. And if I tell him that I have a lump in the breast, he will not be able to go. He'll miss his promotion. So see how she kept for 1 year, did not come. So I think these are the important things on which the ladies do that, and the patient comes very late.
Right.
But I think slowly things are changing.
Right. So, like Dr. Advani said, and completely relate with this, women will put every other family issue before their own health. And that is one of the reasons why their diagnosis is also late. Now, I know Sonalini and Rekha ma'am want to come in and say something, but I want to get a quick question from Dr. Singh in. Now, everybody is saying there is a lack of awareness, there may be a stigma, but the lack of awareness is the biggest problem. So, ma'am, while we are making an effort, and like Rekha ma'am is making an effort on the ground level to increase the awareness, is the government thinking of doing something so that more women are, aware of breast cancer? Why I'm asking is that the government is already running so many programs that target women. These women may be in the younger age group. Most of the, the plans are for pregnancy and infant care and nutrition, but you can always squeeze in that message. You needn't have a separate campaign. So is the government thinking towards that when you're talking to younger women, talk about this too? Why should you wait?
Absolutely. One must take every opportunity when the woman comes in contact with the health system to be able to get to know that, this is something which they need to understand, and they need to learn how to do self-breast examination. They need to go in for a clinical breast examination. So these are the points which one can emphasize during antenatal clinics, in the adolescent clinics also, as well as in the postpartum clinics, because many times it happens that a lactating woman, she gets to feel a lump, and then it's just taken for a Lactocil or something like that, and then it's ignored for a variable length of time when the baby is breastfeeding. So it does happen this way, and that's why even for women when they visit for contraception advice, they must be told about self-breast examination and the risk of cancer and how to get it detected early. So the government has made operational framework for management of common cancers, in which they have actually brought out the screening schedule. So these are for the common cancers of oral, breast, and cervical cancer. However, in this, the screening, regular screening, which they say starts at 30 years of age. But when you treat an individual, it's a different advice that you give from the public health perspective. You have to see from the, a different perspective. So while the screening process for oral, breast, and cervical cancer starts at 30 years of age in the public health system, there is no stopping for anyone to advise them regarding self-breast and clinical breast examination at a younger age. So I think it can be right in the adolescent.
All right. So we can begin early to talk about at least the self-examination at home. Now, I think Dr. Walia spoke about having screening programs. So I wanted to understand about the screening programs as well. And Ms. Dr. Singh, I'll come to you only. What is the government stand on screening programs? Should they start at a particular year? You said 30 onwards, but I went for an annual check when I turned 40, and I said I'm going to give myself a birthday gift and get a mammography done as well. My friends told me, why are you being overzealous? 40 is why would you want to go get a mammogram? And my friend's doctor in Canada also said that I guess this is overzealousness to get a mammogram done at 40. It's not recommended till 45. What would you say, ma'am, that, self-examination is one. What would you say would be the government's recommendation when it comes to clinical screenings?
Yes, so the government's program is for clinical breast examination from the age of 30 to 65 years. And, that should be done yearly. And but in the government setup, it's not possible to get this done yearly. There's so many, people. So what they have said in the guidelines is every 5 years a clinical breast examination.
Okay, a breast examination
clinical
by a doctor.
A clinician, yes.
Right. So, Rekha ma'am, I want to come to you. You have been working with women in Mathura and Vrindavan. And you are trying to increase their awareness, and you say that once you find success, you will go elsewhere. What have you found in your experience amongst this whole stigma attached to your own intimate parts? Is it really a big deal?
It's a big deal, especially in the villages. In the urban areas, the educated women are still much aware. But if you poor, so we have to encourage them. One thing, we should teach every woman to respect herself. If she respects herself, she gives importance to herself. Only then the family will give importance to them. Otherwise, she will be taken for granted that she is there to look after us. Secondly, if she wants to be the center of the house, she has to be healthy. Thirdly, she feels if cancer happens to me, I would die. So she must be told that everyone has to die one day, whether cancer or not. You can't guarantee anybody's life. So why do you attach death only with cancer? That may happen due to any reason. So why to die before death? So when any problem comes, we should always say, as they say, कि दर्द तो सबका एक सा होता है, दर्द तो सबका एक सा होता है, कोई हताश होके बिखर जाता है, कोई संघर्ष करके निखर जाता है. तो face the reality, संघर्ष करो, find the ways and means to come out of it. So there are solutions. And secondly, we give them the hope that if they come at the earliest possible stage, pre-cancer at the first stage, their breast will be saved, which they are very apprehensive of. And we tell them, if you come late, you will lose your breast, and that will be worse. And you will lose your life, that will be worse. So if you come at the first stage, if you come at the pre-cancer stage, you will save your breast, you will save your life, you will be cancer free, there will be less treatment, less time to devote to cancer. So that will be more beneficial. So showing them all the positive aspects, the brighter aspects of coming at the early stage would give the strength and hope and desire to women to come forward and get themselves screened. Secondly, as Dr. Shalini told, that they should be going for clinical this examination. Now, during my experience, I have come to know that these people go to CGHS dispensary. They tell the doctor that I am feeling some lump. Then the doctor says, okay, everybody thinks of cancer, forget about it. You know, very few general physicians attach any attention or importance to cancer. In that case, with the help of Dr. Anurag of AIIMS, we had to have a long training for 4 months, where I was also one of the awareness speaker, and Dr. Anurag took the lead. And then we called all the this CGHS doctors and told them that when women come to you, you should make them aware of the importance of clinical breast examination, and you should do, and you should not avoid them. Let them go to the doctor. Another thing about women is they feel if there is cancer and the doctor performs biopsy or FNAC, with that it will spread all over my body and then I will die. So they have to be explained that these are myths. This does not spread the cancer. It does detect. These tests are very safe. So whatever their apprehensions are, they must be cleared to make them assured that if they come to the hospital early stage, they will save the breast, they will save the life, they will save money, they will save trauma. I think that will be a great incentive for the women to come forward at the early stage. That is what I feel. Thank you.
Right. Sonalini, now breast cancer is largely an urban phenomenon. You'll find more cases being reported in urban areas than rural areas, but the mortality rate is higher in rural areas because they're not aware, and they come in the late stage. Now, in even urban areas, even in a rural setting, there'll be an annual camp or this annual festival of getting your checkup or taking your child for immunization or whatever. They'll have these camps done, and people will go and get screened. Now, in an urban setting, women are putting things off all the time because they have many other priorities. They may be aware and they may even know that a self-exam, this is how to do it, but they don't do it. So, I think the idea is to keep knocking on their door over and over again and remind them. And, like I'm saying, there's so many campaigns or there's so many things that come up on social media, selfie challenge, your sari challenge, or something like that. So why don't we have these kind of campaigns? Why can't we have a buddy system? My buddy will check on me on that particular day of the month. Have I done a self-exam? So, how will this become, more easy to talk in our country so that even the urban people, talk fearlessly about it. There's no stigma attached to it, and they make the effort to do something.
So, I remember a doctor telling me that what is important is breast awareness, much more than a breast self-exam. The breast self-exam is one part of it, but breast awareness starts from the moment a girl starts developing breasts. You get into the habit of knowing what is going on within your body, and therefore any change, it needn't be a bad change, it could be a good change, or it could just be a change as you grow. You are aware at every stage how your breast changes. Now at 40, if I start doing a breast exam, I won't know what I'm looking for. And when you actually do a breast exam, it's very tricky, because I did one once and I rushed off immediately to the doctor, who said, "Oh gosh, you're doing it all wrong." So I think the aim is to start very young. And that the way to target the very young is really through programs in school. The second thing is to not look at it as a women's issue, but to look at it as a health issue which is affecting everybody, right? And I think really what we need to, you said that we don't have enough campaigns. We actually do. The Pinkathon, which is really one of India's largest, it is one of India's largest campaigns, and it's really been embraced by all women in urban and in peri-urban areas. So I'm not sure I agree that that there hasn't been enough. There have been enough. The other day, in fact, I was talking to a young woman called Neeti. I think you've had her on your show. They're running the Unhook Your Bra chat, which is all over social media. So we are doing stuff. It's just that I think we need to start younger, and the way to start younger is to use social media influencers. Newspapers keep writing about things, and of course, newspapers and traditional media is important, as is the internet. We are an access. We provide people access to doctors, right? So I can pick up the phone and I can call a Dr. Advani, I can call a Dr. Walia and say, okay, what are the symptoms? And I can write about it, which maybe a layperson doesn't have that opportunity to do. But along with speaking to doctors, we must recruit social media influencers. We must co-opt Bollywood stars, sports stars into this movement.
Right. So Nalini is talking of starting early. Most parents even have a tough time talking about the birds and bees to their kids, talking about breast cancer, or just to feel your breast or understand your body will perhaps, from a family side take some time. But yes, social media and influencers could play a very important role there. Christina, you're from the healthcare industry itself. So while, everybody is underscoring the need for self-exam, for awareness of your body and things like that, there are some known risk groups, like you knew that, there was a family member who had cancer. So you were already alerted. So should we have campaigns, saying this as well? Could it be counterproductive? Could it scare people more, saying that, did your aunt or your mom have breast cancer? Perhaps you should be more proactive. Would that put in fear, or will it create awareness?
I think the reason why things are fearful is because there's an unknown. So I know, now things are a bit different, but there was a moment in the 90s where when you did hear, somebody in your family has breast cancer, it was also seen as a death sentence, right? It was very, what does this mean? I think with technology and with science, and what we're saying now is if you catch it early, you have a very high chance of survival. And if you catch, if you self-examine and you find the lump, you get a biopsy, you diagnose at stage 1 or 2, you have a very good prognosis and you will have a long and healthy life. I think those options need to be first made, they need to be mainstream. Breast cancer does not mean terminal. Breast cancer does not mean death. Breast cancer does not mean always stage 3 or 4, but it will get to that if you wait too late. I think the second thing is exactly what Sunalini was saying, which is if more people talk about it, it becomes less of a taboo, and not just people in the family. And of course, I feel like everybody that's joining this this show and these series, we're preaching to the choir. But I think that, there's Bollywood stars I think we need to tap into, like Priyanka Chopra. And, I think there's a myriad of public figures that if we get them to talking about it every day, if they start posting a challenge, like, screen and bring 5 of your friends to screen, tag them, and you're a part of this social media challenge. I don't know. I'm just thinking of things that then removes that taboo. I'm seeing now on social media, I also follow a lot of influencers from the West and in Vietnam. And it is October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And some are very vocal, and there's some collaborations that people are doing. I think to get to that young age group, everyone's on Instagram. All these young kids are on TikTok for now, So what can we do in that health space to target that? And I'm saying this, I work at Novartis and I work in oncology. And my part of my job is exactly this, is to how do we get awareness higher, and how do we get patients access to screening and diagnostic services? And now I'm thinking, we've been doing the same things as well, radio spots, Facebook groups, newspaper ads, but maybe we need to go out and, we need to really maximize social media to have that broad reach.
So, Anisha, I wanted to make a point here. You brought out a very pertinent, important thing. Like, shall we advertise? I mean, if there is a family history, or if there's somebody in the family who had breast cancer, probably your chances are higher, whether it will be productive or it is counterproductive. So, as an oncologist, as a practicing physician, my take on it is, I mean, it might be counterproductive, because many times you see there are people who come with the concept when they come to the OPD and you tell them, yes, this is like after the final diagnosis is made, and you tell them that this is cancer, breast cancer. So there are ladies who said, why? Because nobody in the family had. Now, nobody in my family had, neither on my maternal side or my paternal side, and how come I have cancer? I think it's a very important message to communicate that it is only the 10%, 5 to 10% of the cases of breast cancer which are genetic. So vast majority, which we see in our clinics, the rest 90% will have probably no family history. So that doesn't mean that if you do not have a family history, you cannot succumb to this disease. So all the more reason that saying it that way, that if it is a family history, it needs to be more important. So if it's the family history, yes, you are at a slightly higher risk. But not having a family history doesn't make you immune to this disease. I think this is very important message that should go out in the public also. And plus, just telling them that a family history probably makes them more at risk. I mean, we should not be increasing the stigma attached to the disease. The next thing what will happen is a mother who is recently diagnosed, as Dr. Advani was saying, recently diagnosed with a breast lump, may not, and who has a daughter of manageable age, may not come forward just because there will be some stigma attached, and maybe what happens to my daughter. So not long before, I had a patient a young handsome guy in my OPD who was just carrying papers, and the question was only this: her fiancé's mother was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and he wanted to know that what are the chances of this girl going to have cancer, and whether you should go ahead and not. So I think this is a very, very important point that you have brought. So we all need to spread the message that 90% of the cancers in women happens in the absence of family history. So that is, even if you don't have a family history, that is not going to make you immune to the disease.
Right. That's, of course, very important. Dr. Singh, we heard Christina, we heard Sonalini saying that, a lot is being done to get the awareness going. But we need to get the big names, we need to get influencers involved so that when they are talking, then everybody feels it's okay to talk about it too. Now, the government gets in a big celebrity to talk about Incredible India. Is the government going to do something to get a big celebrity to talk about breast cancer? And another question that I have for you is that I think Rekha ma'am said, or Dr. Advani said that, and you also said that, breast cancer should not be seen in isolation. When women go for their checkups, they should screening should also be part of their, their normal health care, they go for, be it, maternity, contraception, whatever. Now, are physicians going to be trained for this as well? Because Rekha ma'am said that, if in rural areas, a lady has presented herself with a lump, the physician may not be, in a position to advise her adequately because he himself is not trained. So is the government looking at that as well? That, if you're going to leave it just to the oncologist, but there are not many in our country, are we going to address this issue about treating early stage cancer better?
So first of all, I think in our undergrad, that is when we are enrolled for the MBBS, all of us are taught clinical breast examination. So that you can't pass an exam. The other doctors on the panel would agree that for an undergrad to pass an exam, they need to know clinical breast examination. So everybody does know. Also, I'm sure the nursing students also learn how to do a clinical breast examination. The thing is that you have to pass on that message to patients or the people who are coming to you, and that kind of sensitivity should be there. So like a woman has come for something else, let me just do some other kind of whole kind of a checkup, right? So if she's come even for as I said, a contraception, of course it includes that you must check the whole all the checks, you know, just not just advise her on contraception. So these are included. These are integral part of our studies. So I think attitudinal change has to be brought in, that a woman is coming to you for some other problem or just a checkup, and you need to do a clinical breast examination at the same time, teach her about self-breast examination. So with that, I think we can.
Right. Dr. Singh, is the government considering roping in a no-name Bollywood star, a spokesperson, or somebody like that to perhaps have a campaign on breast cancer also?
I think that will be a good idea. It's always welcome to have celebrities on to popularize.
Yes. Rekha ma'am, why I want to come to you is that, ma'am is saying that at MBBS level itself, doctors know how to do a breast exam. Now, I went to my gynecologist and I've gone a couple of times because there was some discharge which was not normal for me. So I went to her presented a problem of cervix. She never did a breast exam. I went to her thrice. No, not even once.
And they don't even suggest, ordinary.
They don't.
Ordinary physicians, they don't talk about it. They don't think about it.
No, ma'am, this is a gynecologist. This is not an ordinary physician.
Yeah. At least the gynecologist must be asked that they should tell every woman about breast self-examination, whether she comes for breast or not. Here, I would like to say, Indian Cancer Society has a state-of-art diagnostic van fitted with mammography machine. We go to remote places also and have these camps, screening camps also. These days, because we are not able to do that, so what we are doing is, this is the happy thing about the universities, that they have got NSS groups in every college. So, of course, we get women, girls who want to learn about cancer. So peer impact is much better as compared to our lectures. When they think, "Arey, ye to lecture bazi karne aaya, bore karenge." But when peer impact is there, they talk about it, they would listen to them. So these NSS girls from different colleges, they come to us, and of course online we have these talks, and they spread it in the university. Apart from this, we have started getting interns from the young crowd. Means recently appointed people, IT experts, some doctors, newly appointed doctors, young crowd in their 20s, in their 30s and early 40s, and we train them. And we also take two types of IT specialists and medical specialists. So IT specialists on behalf of ICS make small films, creating awareness, not more than 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, because nobody has time to watch 5-minute clip. So we make small clip, creating awareness, because these students, children who are good at IT, they make these films. And these doctors are made aware that wherever they go, they spread awareness, because doctors' word has got weightage as compared to others. Thirdly, we have collaborated with the healthcare centers which are created by government. So people go over there for ordinary checkups and all that. So we haven't clubbed with many. With 1 or 2 we have clubbed. We have taken one area in Najafgarh where we collaborate with these healthcare centers, and we sit with them once a week. So whosoever comes over there, we talk about breast self-examination, we talk about the symptoms, we talk about the taboos, and we encourage them to come forward. We not only that we have to tell them the symptoms, not only that we have to do the checkup, we have to remove their inhibitions against it, the taboos, the myths against it. Only then the people would come forward. Just telling them the symptoms, nobody would come forward. If we tell them the brighter aspect of it, only then they would come forward. If we tell them advantage, then so creating hope is very important. Giving This side is very important. Thank you.
So that's the reason why, ma'am, we have you, we have Reema ma'am with us to give hope to all the people and to tell people that this is a battle that can be won. Dr. Advani, Dr. Singh was mentioning a screening program starting 30 years of age. To your mind, what will work best? And like a lot of work, a lot of companies incentivize their employees to take an annual health checkup. So should a type of screening be included in the annual health checkup so that the breast can be examined? Would you recommend a mammography as well? From what age? What would you recommend?
I think mammography also should not be used indiscriminately. The mammography is useless before the age of 40. Reason is very simple. The breast is very dense and mammography will not show you anything. In fact, you will miss it. You'll definitely miss it. So normally we recommend after the age of 40, but the chances of discovering the cancer is much higher after the age of 50. So overall, I think everybody believes that above the age of 50, it should be compulsory. Before the age of 50, it should be optional. And that's the way the mammography should go. But all other methods are good. I really feel that the most important thing is not the diagnosis of cancer. I think that's not the way we should approach the cancer at all. What we should be talking about, how to prevent the cancer. I think as a nation, we should be talking about that. You look at how the US, you go over there, every lady knows how to prevent breast cancer. Why they are doing marathons? Why they are doing the gyms? All because they want to prevent the breast cancer. So we don't realize that what are the predisposing factors. You teach these things to the people, they will follow that. But like taking high fatty diet, everybody knows that Negroes in US, they are so fat. The breast cancer is more common in them. Overall, the US people, because of obesity, they have a high incidence of cancer. 1 out of 8 ladies. In Bombay, 1 out of 28 ladies. While you go to a small place like Palghar, is 1 out of 100 ladies get the breast cancer. Because they don't eat fatty food. In city, we are all eating a lot of fatty foods. So you see, these are the things which should be taught. That you can eat everything, but consume that. Which means do the physical activity. The problem is in urban. Why it is common in urban? Very simple reason that in urban areas, the ladies don't do physical activity. They are busy. They are busy in getting up, doing the breakfast, ready breakfast, rushing by the train or bus or rickshaw, reaching office, 8 hours, sitting job, evening come back home. You are busy. You are tired. Just cook something, eat and sleep. So that's the life of the young ladies over here. And they are going to get the more cancer. Nobody can prevent that unless we change this cycle. That means they have to do the gym or whatever physical activity, yoga, all that thing should become essential part of the breast cancer. So when you are teaching about breast cancer, you must teach about breast cancer prevention. That's what we say, the long use of lactation. So that can definitely prevent the breast cancer. So there's a lot of WHO is recommending today that at least the ladies should give the lactation for 1 year minimum. So you look at these are all preventive measures, and they can be talked very easily in any social media, and people will listen to you. Young people will listen to you and they will practice it. So that is much more, I think, emphasis should be more on these areas, prevention of the breast cancer, rather than only on the early diagnosis. Early diagnosis also important, but I think prevention is also very important.
All right. So, Dr. Advani, you've raised very important points and something that is coming as news to me as well. I never knew that breast cancer can be prevented. So could you do a quick recap for us? 3 main points. You said breastfeeding till 1 year is a good idea to prevent breast cancer. Exercises, what else? Just top 3 points that can help, put off breast cancer for women.
Yes, I think there are, you have to think of what really predisposes to the breast cancer. Is the fat, because the fat in the body produces the hormones, and these hormones can make an imbalance and produces the cancer. So all the people who are obese, and therefore obesity is the main problem in all the Europe, USA. They have a big problem about obesity. That's why the incidence is more. So that is one. Second reason is that slowly over a period of time, the ladies are getting busy. They have a high aims, and they postpone the marriage. They postpone the first child birth, and therefore, if you look at the data from all over US, the average age of first child birth is 33, and I'm told that it will become 36 soon, because they are postponing. They want to achieve everything in the world. And we also know that the first child, if it is born before the age of 25, they have 100 times less chance of getting breast cancer as compared to those who have the first child after the age of 25. And at 36, you have a very high chance of breast cancer if you have the child at 37. So that's the second important point. So what it means is that we are changing our culture. We are imitating the foreign culture in our society. That's what is happening in all the urban areas. We are imitating them. And when you imitate, you are going to fall in the same pitfalls that they have already fallen. And therefore, I think it's very important that we should really change this gear and make sure that impart the information about prevention. I think that's important. Just like I mentioned that we should impart the knowledge about the normal breast. I think that's important. But about the how to prevent, I think that's very important in the whole this concept.
Right. Dr. Walia, does this conversation happen? I mean, my doctors never told me that, breastfeeding puts off your chance for having breast cancer later in life. Does this ever happen? I mean, do doctors discuss this with their patients on all occasions, on any occasion?
So we cannot generalize a statement. Well, doctors do discuss it, but I don't think it is being discussed as often as it should be. So the very fact that somebody mentioned that there's hardly any discussion of breast self-examination and preventive screening mammography also. So definitely the discussion of these lifestyle changes or lifestyle modifications that need to be done not only decreases your chances of breast cancer, it decreases the chances of many other cancers also, many other illnesses also. But this is the need of the hour. And that is why the thought process has to now change to preventive health or wellness rather than illness. Now we should be talking about wellness, and we need to actively promote. Dr. Advani brought out a very important point about like these office jobs and these desk jobs, which more and more women now seem to be like. Of course, they are being educated in our country, professionals. But again, we are also not only adopting the habits and everything from the West, but we are also adopting. We are in a way, the illnesses, the diseases also West are also now seem to be creeping into our country. And sitting is the way we used to, some time back, we used to attribute everything to tobacco. And now in medical fraternity, now we say sitting is the new smoking. I mean, there's so many diseases now attributed to the sedentary lifestyle, to not being physically active, not being able to go, not being up and above and moving. And this is becoming a very, very important cause of not only breast cancer, but many other also cancers also. And this is something that we need to focus on.
Right. Dr. Singh, I wanted to come to you about a few points which Dr. Advani has raised. Dr. Walia has also raised these questions that your lifestyle could predispose you to many type of diseases. Now, the government, we seem to be swinging between extremes. There was a point when little girls would get married, underage girls would get married, and it was becoming a bit headache because early pregnancies would then affect the health of these women. So, information was given, have 2 children, family planning of 2 children, educate your daughters. And, this educate your daughters, make them self-sufficient is still a campaign. But how do you then tell, people that don't put off childbearing for the really long term, because that's going to again come back and hit you. So how can your communication be fine-tuned in such a fashion that say, educate your daughters, but tell them to have babies early?
I think one has to find a balance in life, especially work-life balance. And I do not see there any contradiction between having a child and working. The government gives you 6 months of maternity leave and 2 years of childcare leave, all paid. So while it is actually practiced in the government jobs, the private sector has yet to catch up. That's where I think one area where the private sector can do its little bit. It can value each and every child that is born in the country. So with this, I think then there are other schemes which the government brings out as especially for women, at least in the sciences. There's schemes where if you've had a break in service or career, you can pick it up from there. That often happens in the private sector. But yes, you have to have in your own mind a work and life balance. And ultimately what you want, you will do. The government can only do as much. So one has to look at that aspect, I think.
So there's a lot of...
I would also like to add to what Dr. Advani said about alcohol. Alcohol, even in very little amounts, increases the risk of breast cancer. Smoking, it does. And these two things have now actually begun, they're catching up in the society because they lead to increased estrogen levels like obesity does. There's no difference between carbohydrate in the alcohol and sugar that you're eating. So one has to be very mindful of these. Then there's some other points is that, even use of birth control pills for a prolonged period. So that should also be avoided. You can switch on to other methods in between. Post-menopausal hormone therapy, again, use it as much as it's needed for that symptom, not as a panacea for non-aging, So these kind of things should be encouraged in the society as a whole, I would say.
All right. A lot of important points raised. So next time I have a drink, I'm going to check the carbs in that drink, make sure that I don't increase my risk of getting cancer.
No, even if you drink very little amounts, it does increase your risk. So there's no point in checking on the carbs. The idea
just avoid them.
The idea is to quit, just avoid them.
Okay. So I would like to thank all our panelists for joining us today. And I would like to take their closing comments, their 3 biggest takeaways on how we can increase the awareness about early detection of breast cancer in our country. Rekha ma'am, just 3 points. What would you say are the 3 most important points from all that we discussed today to increase the awareness about early detection of breast cancer?
3 points. Of course, one is awareness, and while creating awareness, don't create panic and fear. Make it show the brighter side of it. Secondly, as Dr. Minu Walia always stresses, that there are some risk factors which are within our control and some are not within our control. So we should stress upon the points which are within our control, our diet and our active habit and all that, as Dr. Advani has told. And of course, tension and pollution and other factors which add to breast cancer. And thirdly, please do respect yourself and give respect to yourself. Find ways to find solution. Don't run away from the reality. Facing reality is very important. Thank you.
Dr. Advani, your biggest takeaways so that we can have early detection of breast cancer in our country. Dr. Advani, can you hear me? I think Dr. Advani is unable to hear right now, but I'll come to you, Dr. Walia. Dr. Walia, what would you say are the biggest, three most important factors to increase early detection of breast cancer in our country?
So the first thing I'd say is be aware, be body aware. So do not shy away from your own body and what it is telling you. That is the first thing that most ladies should be aware of, think of, listen to these words, be aware of their own body. Second is, if there is something, act early. So any lump in the breast, if your body is telling something, act early. Do not shy away from seeing a doctor. And third is always like get yourself screened. So unfortunately, you do not yet have screening programs for all the cancers. But fortunately, you have screening programs for most common ones. And breast cancer happens to be one of them, where you can screen and you can detect the cancer early. So wherever screening programs, whichever cancers are there, do not shy away from the screening programs.
All right. Dr. Advani, what are your three biggest focus points to ensure that we have early detection of breast cancer?
Yeah, the most important thing is to create awareness right from the young age, teaching them how you can prevent the disease, particularly the breast cancer, which is becoming epidemic, as you mentioned. So this has to be started from the school onwards, and that's where you can catch the people young and modify the lifestyle. I think that's very important. Second thing is, of course, the education after you complete your the young graduation and all, and that's the time again talking about it and making the breast cancer not a stigma, rather than it should be open talk, open information from all over every day, because ultimately people can't remember. Mind you, people have too many other things. So every day you have to remind them that this is a problem. So the job of the print media, job of the visual media, to make sure that their information reaches to each and every one. And today, certainly with the high technology, it is possible to penetrate deeply in the country as a whole. And lastly, I must say that making the ladies realize that they are the captain of the house. I strongly believe in that. They are responsible for the whole family, but for themselves also. And if they are not right, the family is not going to be right. So I think it's assuring the ladies that they have to make every effort to keep them healthy. And that's where this can really give the fruits.
Right. Dr. Singh, the government is focusing a lot on women's health, especially when it comes to pregnancy, breastfeeding, and infant care. What is your biggest takeaway for increasing the awareness among women about breast cancer to ensure early detection?
So I think at every opportunity when the woman needs the health system, there should be an opportunity for her to get herself examined. And no matter who the clinician is, they must stress upon this fact. A risk profile should also be drawn if somebody has a family history, or somebody has the other risk factors like being obese, or having early menarche, or so late menopause. So these are the risk factors which one should know, and if identified early, one can always approach the healthcare provider with these risk profile. And of course, if there is any change in the breast appearance, and as all the other panelists also mentioned, so awareness about these symptoms, and when you go for this checkup, you are provided with the correct information and correct guidance, that will go a long way in helping women detect breast cancer at an early stage, because they should not fear the health system.
Right. So Nalini, what do you think is going to get everybody to talk about this a little more openly, even in families? How are we going to get this awareness to become something which is not a taboo, which is not something which is a death sentence? What do you think is the best way to get the message across?
I'm going to take a slightly broader view of it, and perhaps a slightly deeper view. The first thing is conversation. I've been told by psychologists so often that in India, we just don't have conversations with our children. If there are conversations, it's a sort of one-way street where I'm telling my child, right? So the first is to just have conversations about everything. And when you have conversations about everything, from politics to the economy to religion, you can also have conversations on breasts. The second is breasts. And so many doctors have told me that that is one of the main causes of breast cancer, right? Not just breast cancer, so many diseases. We underestimate the role that stress plays in a woman's life. And I really, I'm sorry to say this, but I disagree, and I get very worked up when people say that, the woman is sort of this important person. Of course, she's important in the house, and so is everybody else. But that is like putting all the onus on the woman again and telling the woman, hey, you need to be well because you need to care for all these other people in your life. No, absolutely not. We have to share the responsibility in families. That is so important. And that is what is going to take the stress off women. And people should really stop saying that the woman is heading the house and it's because of her that the house is running. It's just putting too much stress on her. She already has a lot of stress. And the third point, which comes out of this, is really that all of us as women need to develop a sense of self. We are good enough in ourselves. I don't have to be well for somebody else. I need to be well for myself. Those are my three.
Very important. Put yourself before anything else. Christina, what would you say? You're in the healthcare ecosystem, so to say. Now, if you would bring in, if you say that our treatments are better now, will that inspire more hope, or there's something else? How would you increase the awareness?
Sure. I think it's very similar to what Dr. Sunalini had just said. I think my first takeaway and message, and to really stress, is regardless of the information that's out there, each woman has to take ownership of their own health. No one is going to do it. Not your doctor, not your husband, not your son. It's, we have one body, each of us. We have one body. We are the agents. And if Dr. Advani is talking about the captain of the household, we are the captains of our bodies. And so we need to know when to steer our body to the doctor or when to steer our bodies to a bath to de-stress. So I think I think that's the one important takeaway. I think the second thing to kind of decrease the taboo, increase awareness, and to have people more proactive is to share that it's not the end. A cancer diagnosis does not mean that you will die. When I was diagnosed, actually, that was the first words out of my mouth to my gynecologist was, "Am I going to die?" And she kind of laughed and she goes, "You will live a long life because you caught it early." And I think it's very cyclical. If I didn't catch it early, if I didn't do the self-exam, and if I didn't feel something weird, I wouldn't have gone to get it checked and I wouldn't have caught it early. If I waited, it would have metastasized. And I think these are the links that a lot of women don't make. They push things away and they say, I'll do it next year after my son's wedding, et cetera, et cetera. But I think this is the, and I know we're out of time, so I'll just give those 2 points as my takeaways.
Thank you to all our panelists for joining us today and talking about creating awareness of breast cancer, how women can be self-aware of their own selves and put themselves first so that their health is important to them. The stigma should go. There is no stigma attached to breast cancer. Breast cancer is just a disease that women can fight successfully if they are aware about their own bodies and they catch breast cancer at an early stage. We will keep up our momentum, our campaign to increase the awareness about breast cancer, bring in voices from the medical community, from the drug industry, from social media, influencers, media, and keep talking about breast cancer all this month and even after that, so that the awareness levels increase. Thank you so much for joining us today, and goodbye.